he's dangerous. He's got dynamite in both fists.
This is a big fight for boxing fans all around the world.
How to exploit Joe's weaknesses and recognise his strengths.
Frank Warren suggested that the winner of this fight will go on.
Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by the English heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley. Coming off a really good win on Saturday night. How you feeling?
Good, mate. Yeah, feeling good. Feels a bit like a whirlwind. It's all over so quick. Time in the bubble's quite good. It's quite fun, that whole week of everything. But it all goes really quickly and then it's back to normality.
Talking of things that are over quickly, you must have expected the fight to last a bit longer than the 2 rounds it did, right?
Yeah, massively. I was you could almost say disappointed that it didn't go that far or into just a few more rounds at least. But ultimately, you're not there to do any extra work. You do what you do and get out and go home. So can't grumble too much.
It looked like a pretty kind of circumspect opening round. I mean, you definitely won it, but it didn't seem like a major shootout was on the cards. You were both taking a look. And then went into the second round, a bit more probing, but still not, anything that prefaced what was to come. And then just that sudden 2-punch combination, it was all over. Is that a combination you practice regularly in the gym?
Yeah, it's a combination I've knocked someone out before with in an earlier part of my career. I fought someone called Scott Sawyer, and I did the exact same thing with him. I led into it a bit differently, but I rolled in and came up with a big left hook and followed with a right hand. So it's something I'm quite comfortable in throwing. It comes off quite comfortable and natural. It doesn't really take too much effort or anything much behind it. It's just one of those really things that my body feels nice and comfortable getting stuck into.
And it didn't initially look like a devastating shot. It just looked like a quick, sharp burst. But the effect clearly was devastating. And I'm guessing that's partly because of the accuracy and where it landed.
Yeah, part and part. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Because if you watch the clip I noticed as well in the ring, you notice when you're there, you can see little cues in fighters' faces and how they act and what they do. And I stung him with quite a strong jab, and I watched a little bit of his knee go, a little bit of his leg go, and just the look on his face was a bit like that wasn't like he didn't enjoy that. Yeah. So I stung him with another one, and then followed through with a big left and right. And yeah, it was just about the accuracy really, because I knew that if I'd started with them quick stinging jabs, that makes them very twitchy. So them gloves will come front and try and cover that face quickly. So I'll do that. I'll set that, feint it, lead it, come around the side, and clean around.
And in the aftermath, obviously, he was given oxygen, had to be helped up onto a stool. In that moment, you're obviously elated that you've got the big win that you've trained so hard for, but you're apprehensive about your opponent's condition. Try and describe how you feel in those moments.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you almost like I'd like, as soon as they see like the gas and air and stuff, you almost want to go over and help. Like I don't. Ultimately, we're there to do a job, and especially with Lartey, I have no agenda with him, no malice, no nothing towards him. He's a nice enough guy. I don't want to see him in any bad state. I don't want to see anyone particularly hurt that badly. I'm just there to do my job and get the win and get home. So it's a hard one, isn't it? Because you like, as much as I'm buzzing that I won and whatever else, it takes away the fact that someone's in a not a great state and not great position right at the moment. So I think that takes obviously precedent over everything, and you be respectful, you wait your turn kind of thing, and just relax until the all okay goes through. And
presumably when you got that okay, pretty much relief and then delayed kind of jubilation.
Yeah. Both as well. It comes together that Lartey gets up, he's okay, which is a nice feeling, and then obviously I get my hand raised and everything else goes together. So they go together quite well.
And before the fight, we spoke to you last week, you kind of dismissed comparisons with some of your British rivals and how they'd performed against Lartey. Having now knocked him out quicker than both of them, how do you feel about those comparisons now?
Conveniently, I've changed my mind. I think that makes me better than the pair. No, it's still the same. It doesn't mean anything. It's different fights, different styles, different meanings, whatever else. Like I said in my post-fight interview, all that I take from that fight is that I beat Richard Lartey in 2 rounds. That's all that fight means. That's all that shows is that I do have a decent amount of power in my hands, and that I can put it on, and that I'm a threat, and that's all that anyone should take from that, is that Fabio Wardley is a threat, not, oh, he's better than so and so, or he did that better than so and so. It's just me as a whole, as a boxer, I am a threat.
And you did say in the post-fight interview, it proves that you've got the power to take out these big guys. Do you feel that was doubted previously?
Not so much. I think not so much that I can get rid of them, but I think especially in the heavyweight division, people look for them stunning one-punch knockouts, them clean, crisp ones that land flush and just get them out of there. But the thing is, with those punches, they take time, and I mean they take time in the sense that they never come in the first probably half of the fight. Whenever they're happening, they come when you're in the second half of the fight, when you have to switch on a bit more, when you're tired, your opponent's a bit tired, the guard gets dropped a bit more, things start to drop and gets a bit more lazy, and there's more gaps. Early on in the fight, them type of shots are near on impossible to get off, because you're still near on at 100%. You're still reflexes are all switched on. You're still all good, and everything's firing fine. So it's part and part that I haven't been able to get those type of knockouts off, because I haven't been into that latter stages of the fights yet. And I put my punches together as well. I'm not one of those that really sits on. I don't rely on one or two big punches. I don't sit there and go boom, boom, and stick them really two. I'd rather put 4, 5, 6 together, different angles, different places, different spots, because for me that works better. But the end goal is the same. I'll finish you and I'll get you out of there all the same.
Obviously, in the middle of a lockdown, in the fight hotel, or maybe you left on the night, but did you manage to celebrate in any way?
Yeah, like casually as I do with my team, we spend it together. We go back, we have a few beers, and we have a bit of, like, we had a pizza or whatever, and just chilled and had some fun with us, and just use it to soak up the moment, and just like you say, with the lockdown and everything that's going on, just take a bit from this moment to enjoy it for what it is, that we had a good night. It's been a good overall, boxing wise, career wise, been a good year, and we just keep moving forward.
Now, we're going to talk about Daniel Dubois against Joe Joyce and make that a separate video. But while we've got you here anyway, English champion, unbeaten, you've got to be in line for that British title shot. We expect the winner of Dubois Joyce to vacate. They might shock us all or not, but I think they probably will give up that British title. Who would you expect? I mean, you'd expect to be nominated, presumably, but who would you expect to be across the ring from you for that vacant Lonsdale belt?
I think the only logical name is Nathan Gorman. Yeah. I think really, I just don't know. I don't know any others, and that in no way is that me calling Nathan out. That's just he's the only other one. Obviously, before we was aiming for me and Dave retired, so that leaves a gap of Nathan, and I think he's the only one really with any real kind of claim to it, I guess. Unless there's some unknown English heavyweights I haven't really been paying too much attention to, but yeah, I think it will be him, and he's going to want another fight or two himself as well. So, like I say, his performance against Lartey, I think to his own admittance, wasn't his best. He wasn't in his best shape, and he'll want to be in his best shape to have a fight with me, and obviously challenge for the title. So, I think that will probably come together quite well, is that I'll have another fight or two, maybe he'll have another fight or two, and then by that time we'll know what's going on with the title and what else.
When you first moved into traditional boxing, well, initially white collar and now BBFC or BBB boxing, is the Lonsdale belt, the British title, something you thought about? Is it something you covet, or is it just a stepping stone to where you want to get to eventually?
It's one of they're all stepping stones, but it's one of the bigger ones, isn't it? It's one of the ones that you definitely pay a lot more attention to. It's very prestigious. You get a lot of renown for it, and there's just a lot of draw to it. And for one, it's a lovely belt to look at as well. Yeah. So it would always be great to fight for that. That's the one that you always see people fight for and stuff, and you see it on their shoulder, and you're like, yeah, no, that one's nice. That one looks good. So yeah, that one to have at home and hang up and whatever else will be one of the nice ones.